I'm Cheryl Johnson of Cheryl's Catering, and today I'm going to show you how to make a key lime pie. I used to live in Key West, and key lime pie was a favorite. All the tourists went there. If you went to Key West, you had to have a piece of key lime pie, and it's pretty good, I tell you. The first thing we do to make a key lime pie is we're going to have to make some crust. So what I have here is some graham cracker crumbs.
You put your graham cracker crumbs in a food processor along with a 1/4 pound of thinly sliced butter and a 1/2 cup of sugar. Blend this evenly to make your pie crust.
Ready to put it in your pie pan. Now you can use a store-bought graham cracker crust. There's nothing wrong with that, but key lime pie will still be very good. So you just pack it into the pie pan, like so, making sure it's pretty even. Now this is a 10-inch pie, and I'm going to double the recipe. If you buy a store-bought graham cracker crust, you only need half of this recipe because it's a smaller crust, but this is a 10-inch crust, so what I'm going to do is double the recipe and then cook some of the leftover filling in a custard dish without the crust, because we'll have a little bit left over, but we'll want to make sure and fill this pie up really well. So there's the crust. I'm just going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees and bake it for maybe 10 minutes. You'll start to smell the butter and the graham cracker. It's kind of like fresh baked cookies, and when you start to smell that, then it's done. So in the meantime, we need to make our key lime pie filling. And key limes are smaller than regular limes, and they're a little bit tartar, and they definitely have distinctive flavor. Not using regular limes just doesn't get that distinctive flavor that key lime pie has. So we're going to save our egg whites. What you do then is you take your 8 egg yolks and you whip them until they're really thick, almost like mayonnaise. They call it ribbony. So when they're thick and ribbony, then we're ready to add the other ingredients. And now the egg yolks are really, really thick and ribbony. See how that looks almost like a hollandaise sauce? It's just very, very thick. So you don't have to take it off and show people, but I just wanted to show you. So we put it back, and I'm going to put in the sweetened condensed milk. Not as quick as how we whipped the egg yolks, but this will be a little bit slower of an incorporation. Make sure and get all the milk, because you want your pie to be nice and high. Then we have some key lime juice. Give it a little shake, because it's got some pith in it. And that is 1 cup of key lime juice, and I'm going to feed it in rather slowly with a soup spoon. Just 1 spoonful at a time. You can go a little bit faster after the initial key lime goes in. See how the key lime juice gets incorporated into the evaporated milk and the egg yolks? And then at the last, you can just dump the rest of it in slowly. Make sure it's incorporated. You don't want any of it to be running. I know a chef in Key West that likes to not cook his pie and just puts it in the freezer and freezes it up, but I think it's better if you cook it. So you don't want any runny pie. Key lime pie isn't that stable anyway. So when you serve it, it's kind of soft. So if you didn't cook it, it would be even softer and look a little bit runny on the plate. So we have our baked pie crust, and it's firm but yet not hard in any way. And then you just pour in the key lime filling all the way up to where it just is barely going to overflow into the crust. And then into the oven it goes for 12 minutes. I'm at 350 degrees. It doesn't take long for key lime pie. So in the meantime, I'm going to make the meringue for the top of the pie, and by the time the pie comes out of the oven, the meringue should be ready to go. Then when the bowl is cleaned up, you have to make sure the bowl is especially clean, by the way, because egg whites will not whip if there's any grease or fat in the bowl. So we cleaned it up with soap and hot water, and in go the egg whites. Then you mix the egg whites until they're about halfway to forming peaks. They shouldn't be quite forming peaks just yet. And then we'll add the sugar. And then at this point we add 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar. If you put too much sugar in, the meringue will sweat and get really liquidy and runny. And I'm also going to put in a pinch of salt. That would be about 1/4 teaspoon. And 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. That sets the protein. And we whip it the rest of the way. You want soft peaks. This is a nice soft peak. Not too stiff, otherwise it'll be dry. Now the key lime pie is ready to come out of the oven. It's just set. We have our meringue. Okay. And you just spread it right on the pie. Don't worry about damaging your delicate custard underneath, because egg whites are pretty lightweight. Spread it all the way to the crust. It has to really be adhered to the crust, otherwise your pie may have its meringue shrink away from the crust, and you don't want that. And also to have the pie slice a little neater and cleaner, you sprinkle some granulated sugar on the top of the pie. So this is enough meringue for 2 pies because we needed that many eggs to make extra double recipes. So we're going to make this meringue nice and high. And then sprinkle some granulated sugar over the top. And that makes the pie easier to cut when we go to serve it. So into the oven it goes. 350 degrees. We're going to check and see if it's getting done. There's a little bit of brownness on it, so it still has just a minute or 2 more to go. So at this point you really have to watch it. 350 degrees is very important for the meringue. If you cook it a little bit too hot, the meringue's going to shrink. If you cook it a little bit too cool, the meringue gets tough. It's better to have it a little under than too much over. So I think the pie's about ready. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. That is a key lime pie. Wow. Look at how beautiful that meringue is. So light and fluffy. Thank you for sharing my kitchen with me, and I'll see you next time on Kitchen Creations. Bye-bye.
Funding for this program is sponsored by CHERYL's Catering, Cakes, and Video Production. featuring wedding services as well as banquets and buffets. For more information, email CHERYLCakeForYou@yahoo.com, or you can phone 707-463-2544. This has been a CHERYL Johnson video production. Thanks for watching.